I was thinking about this yesterday because, I mean, I think there's a certain sense in which we could say that the age of the great theologians is past, right? We're not, I mean, the people who are, the favorite theologians being presented in classrooms today are, for the most part, people who did their major work in the first half of the 20th century, maybe a little bit into the second half. So why is it that theology doesn't produce these sort of comprehensive or, I don't know, insightful, original minds that it once produced, in the era when Denzinger was the standard reference, and in the era when the curriculum was much more standardized, and in the era in which many people rejected, the sawdust Thomism or whatever it is that they received in their seminary formation. Why is it that that we're no longer we no longer have either kind of a Thomistic substructure or even a reaction, or let's say a reaction of great stature against that Thomistic substructure? Why are both those things diminished simultaneously? And to me, I mean, one part of it, I think, is even just to get beyond the lay, clerical, religious distinction, but is to say that clerics and lay people, regardless of their vows, clerics and religious, regardless of their vows and promises and so forth, they often had a preparation that began very early and that extended over a very long period of time. And for a discipline that is as multi-layered as theology and whose sources span 2 millennia and this sort of thing, I don't know if you can have theological masters who don't have that. And I would say that nowadays, even for religious and priests, the kind of culture that those institutions once provided is no longer provided. And so we're at a kind of interesting curricular narrowing even for priests and religious nowadays, because most of us don't go to schools where we're taught Latin and Greek from a young age, and we have the languages down pat when we're young. We often don't enter these orders, as 15 and 16-year-olds as people once did, so you entered now your late 20s in many cases. So with all these sort of things, do we have the ability to give the depth of formation and to provide all the layers that used to be required to be a theological master? I tend to doubt it, and I don't think even a PhD program nowadays, even the best one, can make up that lost ground that we just don't have at the cultural level. But
when a culture suffers and declines, a university intellectual life, the queen of the culture, the queen of the sciences suffers the most, is most evident. And I think that's, I'm with you. And so this is the real challenge. Like, none of us are happy about this. We don't have false or facile or Pollyanna expectations, and yet I don't think anyone around this table wants to say, well, I guess we can't do anything. So that's the real burden is in this. How can we? And I think this is why we get together, is that we want to do something to elevate the discourse.